Hey people, welcome to the Run Tester. It's Kieran here, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing this. This is the Insta360 Go2. It's a very tiny action cam, and I've been using it a lot on the Run Tester's channel to film things, but I also use it on long ultra adventures. And in this video I'm going to be doing a review of this camera from a runner's perspective. So big word of warning, if you are a camera expert and you are looking for an expert camera review, all the details, all the tricks, all the features, all of that deep dive stuff, then you need to go somewhere else, because I'm going to be reviewing this based on being a runner and a fairly novice kind of filmmaker, video maker on YouTube. You know, a lot of the stuff we do on the Run Testers, we shoot on an iPhone, we keep everything nice and simple. So I wanted to sort of go through how simple this camera is to use for someone like me who maybe doesn't know all there is to know about making these kind of videos. So if you're interested in that, stick with me. If you're not, head off to, so there's loads of other reviews on the YouTube that will do a better job than I'm going to be able to do about all those really sort of detail and minutiae. We're going to talk about what this thing's like to use when you're trying to capture a marathon or a run ultra adventure or something like that. So before I get into the detail of what this camera can actually do, I just wanted to explain a little bit about how I've been using it. Now, in the past, before I even started on the Run Testers, I had been using cameras to try and capture kind of ultra adventures or long runs that I wanted to sort of take people on the journey with, or even just keep kind of films for my own kind of posterity to look back when I'm older and grayer than I already am. So I've looked at things in the past like a DJI Osmo Pocket, handheld camera, one that I've used on some of the longer ultras like the Lavaredo, and I've also at times used the Insta360. This is a 360 sort of shooting camera as well. Both are fairly portable, and you know, I'm looking for something that will fit in the pocket, I can whip out easily, use very easily on the move, know that I'm going to get good shots, but not too confusing for when the brain goes, when you're really tired longer into runs, with good versatility. And I'm basically going to judge this camera based on that. You know, how easy is it to use on the run when you just want to capture a shot nice and quick, stash it in a pocket and carry on running without too much kind of interruption to the overall run. So that is what we're going to find out as we get deeper into what the Insta360 Go2 can do. Before we go there, let's have a look at a quick whip round of all the key specs and the details of what this can shoot, all the features and all of those things, so you know exactly what it can do. After that, I'll tell you how I found it. Specs and features then. The Go2's 6 video modes include video with basic stabilization, Pro Video with flow state stabilization, HDR, as well as time-lapse, hyperlapse and slow motion. It shoots max clip lengths of 10 minutes in Pro mode, 15 minutes in regular mode, and that rises to 30 minutes in first-person view mode. It shoots HDR and MP4 format, but there's no 4K shooting. You also get really high-res stills. On battery life, with just the camera, you get 30 minutes in video mode, 20 minutes in Pro Video mode. In the case, you get 150 minutes in video mode and 110 minutes in Pro Video mode. It takes about 30 minutes to charge the camera itself and around an hour to charge the case and the camera. There's 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, but no SD card or expandable storage option. And the Go2 weighs 26.5 grams or 0.93 ounces. The charging case is 63.5 grams or 2.24 ounces. The camera is waterproof to 4 meters, but the charging case isn't. Price-wise, it starts at £294.95 in the UK or $299.99 in the US. So onto the run test then, and I've been using this now for about 6 months, and there are lots of things that I really like about it. There are a couple of things that I really don't. We'll leave the things I don't until the end. You can check out those. But first up, I'm just going to whip around why I like this camera. Again, as someone who's a novice, no expert, you know, you just want something simple to use. First up is, you know, it's obvious factor. This is the world's smallest action camera. It's much more portable even than a GoPro. It's tiny. It's right now, this is in its battery case, and it's not much bigger than an AirPods Pro case. It stashes really nicely in a running belt, in a running vest, anywhere, and doesn't take up too much space or too much weight. You can basically carry it on almost any run without worrying about it being with you. So I tend to use it in the case, but the actual camera itself is this, which is, look at that. I mean, it's miniature. Now this is so small and it's quite light that you can actually attach it to a cap. There are special caps and special attachments that you can get mounts. You can mount it chest, so you can get different angles of view. If you want to run, do sort of POV, looking around you, you can do that. The way I tend to use it though is clipped into this case. The reason for that is that extends the battery life in normal shoot mode, not Pro Video mode. There's 2 different modes, to 150 minutes of shooting. Now, over a course of like a 12-hour, even a longer ultra, that's going to be enough if you're just taking little snippets here and there. It will shoot up to sort of 15 minutes in one long single clip. Again, it's pretty ample really when you think about the size and the compact nature of it. The other way that I tend to use it is I will take this. This is an Insta360 selfie stick. It's really easy to whip it out of a pocket and attach it using that screw, and then you can extend it on the stick and make the most of this other feature, which is a tilting frame. So you can actually angle and get any shot you want. So it's really easy to angle it to get wide shots, do pieces to camera, or you can get down and get on your shoes, or you can hold it out and face it outwards. It gives you a lot of versatility, and having that with you, that built-in sort of angling sort of feature, for me has been brilliant at basically getting a bit more creative with my shots. And obviously on the selfie stick you can extend it a long way. Both of these unscrewed, that will fit either down inside an ultra vest, almost like a trekking pole. You can put the loops over it and it stays there, or from time to time I can even put it in something like the naked running belt. It will sit on the back in that belt, stay put, not too uncomfortable, and that's good really for kind of shorter runs that I'm going to use it on. Again, that one will just go into any pocket anywhere, zip pocket, no problem at all. We'll easily stash in a running belt. I do wish that it had a loop on it, like some headphones do, so that you could actually put it into your kind of key clip and make sure that it's definitely there when you finish the run. Now, in terms of the controls and the features, again, I think they've kept it nice and simple. You've got two main buttons, one to record, one will kind of connect it, the case to the camera, and then you can start to record. You could also just control the camera itself. There's a built-in button here, so if you're using it mounted somewhere different, you don't have the case with you, you can also just set the mode that you choose. You can assign a mode to have, start from a long press on that, and that's really nice as well. The other thing that I really like, if you want to, you can take your phone out, you can connect it to the phone app, and you can preview what you're shooting in real time to make sure that you're getting the shots off. Sometimes if I know I'm trying to do something a little bit interesting, I might carry my phone in my hand and try and get those shots. But that depends. If you want to run with your phone in your hand for a little bit, great, but you don't have to. Normally, more often than not, just on the selfie stick and out, it's got a wide enough kind of lens that it captures everything that I need it to. The other thing is there are interchangeable lenses. You can take the lenses off and replace them for other lenses. If you wish, I kept it simple. I don't tend to do that. I use the lens that it came with is on there, and I'm just using that all the time. But if you're that way inclined and you want to get deep into it, that is a possibility with this camera. And the other thing I should note about the build as well is that it's got this mini built-in sort of tripod, which is how I shot that first section. So you can stand it up. Voila. So if you want to get run past shots, stick this on a wall somewhere high or on the floor, get your shoes going past, you can do that. These aren't the most robust, and it doesn't balance brilliantly, so you have to be a bit careful about where you're putting it. It also feels a little bit flimsy. Those wings, I do worry about them breaking off, so I use that very sparingly actually. But it's there if you want it and if you need it. The other thing I should say, it comes with a built-in mic that I think is really quite good quality. I've used it, again, when you get into the kind of finish line in the melee and there's kind of noise and stuff going on around you on a marathon, it'll pick up pretty good audio actually for what you're getting here. And even out on sort of windier runs, it's performed okay for me. It's really kind of enough if you want to do something where along the way you're going to sort of share a few thoughts to create the adventure and create a bit of atmosphere, tell people how you're getting on, I'm at mile 71 of 100 or whatever, then there's perfectly good mic in here that will do that for you. You don't need to kind of take anything else with you as far as I'm concerned. The other thing that I'm kind of really concerned with is how easy it is to transfer footage out and into edit. I don't want to be doing lots of laborious kind of processes. I just want it to be nice and quick and simple and easy and straightforward. When I used the 360, I found that a little bit sort of, it's a little bit time consuming because you're shooting in full kind of 360 and then you have to sort of tell the video which points of view you want to take along that. So then by the time you get it out and to get that sort of shot that you need, it can be a bit of a laborious process to kind of do that and then export it and then sort of share it to your laptop, all of those things. This will connect easily with the app. And then in the app, you can go into your kind of library and you can see which clips you've got and just select them. You can export with different levels of quality. You can get into kind of doing something with the sort of colors and amending all of that. Again, I tend to just go right back, hit me the custom one, hit me the kind of the default, export them, get into the laptop, and they tend to come out in kind of good enough quality for what I need them for. So if you want kind of simplicity, there's that too. Within the app, I really like, you can also sort of customize the controls on the camera. You can tweak the kind of the pro and normal modes, and you can tell it which one you want to use when you press the button as well. So there is some customization within the app. So if you know there are settings that you really want to use all the time, you can make it easy to do that on the fly. In terms of storage on the camera, I found this pretty ample. Like, I can go out and really sort of shoot almost a week's worth of stuff on here without having to clear it before I go again. You know, I'm out, I'm not recording masses, probably, you know, series of sort of 60-second clips, but I do think that this will happily kind of last you a day-long ultra. I reckon if you were doing like a 27, 28-hour 100-miler, you'd have enough on here, provided you were sort of using it sparingly to kind of capture all of that. However, one thing to note, there is no SD card slot, so you can't beef up that storage. And if you were going to use it for a longer adventure, sort of day to day to day, you're going to have to be able to find somewhere, you're going to have to connect with your phone and then take that footage off, clear it and go again, which, you know, again, that's easy enough to do. And, you know, if your phone's got storage and you can connect to Wi-Fi, that kind of transfer and backing up stuff is going to be fairly easy. So when I go and run the Danube from source to sea in a couple of months' time, it will be 2,000 miles over 70 days, and I'm going to be taking this camera to try and record most of that. This is the one thing that's going to go in my pocket as my camera of choice to shoot a lot of it on. So that's a lot about the things that I do like. Now onto the things that I'm not so keen on. Number one is durability. Now, I've spoken to a lot of other users of this camera, and a lot of them have come back to me and said, I'm on my second or my third. The one thing is the case itself isn't waterproof. The camera is. So if this gets wet and then you pop it back in the case, a lot of people have said that can be tickets for your case, and that it doesn't take a lot of water into this to be a problem. So the way that I use it, often out with in the case as well, and it starts to rain, I'm normally carrying some kind of little waterproof pack with me, like a sandwich bag or something that I'll pop it in. I'm trying to sort of be careful with it, but if it's really heavy rain or whatever, then I won't take it out. But that is one thing to watch out for. The other thing, I've had a couple of moments where it's frozen on me. Like today out on a run, it froze on me, it was buzzing all the time. It's something to do with the way that the camera is connecting with the case, or it's connecting with the phone, and also just the kind of filming. It's from time to time, I know that I've been pressing record, I've connected the camera, I've pressed record, and I'm running, but when I get to the end of that shot, for some reason it hasn't recorded, or when I get back, all I've got is kind of black footage, or when I've closed the case again. So you take a shot, close the case, put it in your pocket. When you open it up again, it's gone back to recording. So you've been recording this thing that's in your pocket the whole time. So sometimes that feeling of when you're pressing record and stop, it does feel a little bit sort of sketchy sometimes, that it's not quite picking up the presses or something funny going on with that. Now, another big factor, that it's got built-in flow stabilization. That is brilliant because it makes nice kind of buttery smooth shots, and I think I get really good kind of smooth enough shots for my needs out of this when you're running. You know, it beats an iPhone by a long chalk. But that flow stabilization does something that when it's paired, it also has kind of auto orientation. So it will flick from landscape to portrait automatically, at some based on the flow stabilization. So what I've found has happened with no rhyme or reason, I can have the camera held in the same position for the same shot. Sometimes it will shoot in landscape. Sometimes I get back and it shot half of them in portrait for no real reason. I can't work it out. It doesn't. I did wonder whether or not it was to do with the fact that the camera was tilted, but it doesn't seem to be that. I've tested that twice. It just seems to be a little bit hit and miss, and that is a problem, particularly if you're doing something that you need it to be in landscape, and you've shot all those shots on a long run, you get back and now you've got them all in this mode that sometimes it's very hard to kind of zoom in, and so you're kind of losing footage. Sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes the resolution of this is high enough that for a YouTube video you can still zoom in and you'll get enough, but if you've got a shot that, you know, if you're zooming in too far, you're going to miss some of the details you need, then you've had it. And that is a real problem, and I can't find a way to switch that off. And that is probably the most negative thing about this, is that some of the shots you get back and they're unusable. So if you want to judge the quality of yourself, earlier, split screen, first bit, I shot with two cameras. You know, one of them was the Insta360, one of them was on my iPhone camera here, my front-facing iPhone camera as well, so you can compare those. But also all the cutaway shots from this video, the running shots and that will all have been shot on the Insta360. So it'll give you an indication of the kind of things that you can achieve with this camera. If you're a novice and you haven't fiddled with the settings, you know, if you're just using it out of the box, that's what you're going to get, and that'll give you an indication. But overall, I think in terms of footage quality, I'm really happy with it. It does everything that I need it to do for when, you know, it shoots in 4K. And you know what I'm getting out at the end of it in terms of its kind of its stability, its quality, You know, the angle, the ability to shoot different things and get a bit creative with this. I'm really happy with how it performs in terms of shot quality. I find it much more simple to use one of these than a GoPro. I have to say, sometimes I've sort of get a bit lost in the GoPro menus. That's just me, again, being a bit of a simpleton when it comes to these kind of things. So yeah, for me, the simplicity there and that kind of almost sort of, you know, guaranteed certain level of quality is a big win. So on to my verdict then of the Insta360 Go2. Well, I've been massively impressed with this camera. It's become my go-to for shooting everything for the run testers. I now kind of almost take it out just generally when I'm running, particularly if I know I'm going out for 3 or 4 hours. It's always in my pocket because I can do that, and that is a really big plus. You know, some other bigger cameras, I don't like, you know, the DJI, I probably wouldn't always take it because it's a bit clunky. And yeah, this has now become something that I can really sort of easily use to record my runs. And I just sort of gather footage as I go now. It's really nice to do. In terms of price, I think it comes in there. You know, at that price point, it's, you know, I think it's fairly reasonable. Obviously, there's lots of kit you can add on to scale it up, and you can pay a lot more. But I use pretty much the basic package, and I think that's kind of ample. I also, yeah, I think, you know, for the investment, yes, there is a little bit of a question mark over durability. I know some people have raised that. There's a little bit of a robustness here that it might be lacking, and that is a tad of a worry. You know, I've been using for 6 months. It hasn't broken yet, but I have had some moments where I've been a bit panicked and a bit worried. But we will see sort of longer term. But so far, I feel like the value is just about there with this on that price point. And yeah, footage solid. I think ease of use, it's kind of up there with the things that I've used in terms of other cameras. And overall, I honestly, personally don't think that I've yet found a camera for shooting running that can top this. So there you have it. That is my runners and frankly novice filmmakers review of the Insta360 Go2 camera. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the camera, feel free to hit me up in the comments below. Expert filmmakers, tell me where I'm going wrong with this. Tell me why I need to be looking at something else. Teach me, please, because I am looking to learn. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell to sort of see all the other reviews that we've got coming up, all the things that will be shot on this camera, no doubt. It's been a pleasure to talk to you about it. I hope you sort of pick one of these up, go and try and shoot some of your own adventures. It's very well worth it at the end when you can look back in 5 years and look at some of the crazy things that you might have done, some of those PBs that you might have hit. But yeah, in the meantime, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope to see you again soon on the Run Testers.